If someone could send that again, please. Now I don't have a password for some reason. It's just me being me.
I'm sending it to you, Mike, right now.
Thanks.
Do you need me to read that intro over again? You think that would be good for the recording? Okay. Well, luckily I have it scripted, so I can just read it again. I'd like to call this meeting of the Maine Connectivity Authority Audit and Risk Committee to order. Welcome, everybody. For those of you who may not know, I've been asked to step in as chair for the committee today as Jim had other obligations. I'm looking forward to working with you all to ensure our financial controls, risk management, and system integration remain incredibly strong. And if we just want to quickly do introductions, I'm Robert Placido. I'm University of Maine System CIO, board member, of course, for MCA, and also the executive director of Network Maine. I'll pass it over to Mike.
Good afternoon, all. Mike Reed from Palermo. I do the industry piece. And whoever's next. Sarah, you were here early.
Thank you, Mike. Sarah Scola, Director of Human Resources and Operations here at MCA, and I will pass it over to Andrew.
Hi, folks. Andrew Butcher, President for MCA, and I will hand it to Lori.
Hi, Lori Poland, Finance and Accounting, MCA, and I will hand it to David.
David Weddick, Strategic Financial Advisor at MCA. Back to you, Dr. Placido.
Perfect. Quickest intro on record there. Thank you. So the first item on our agenda is the approval of the minutes from our last meeting on January 23rd. The materials are provided for you. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes, Mike?
Don't move.
Second, I think that's how this is going to work today. Any discussion on it?
No.
No. Okay. Hearing none, all those in favor say aye or raise your hand. Any opposed? Okay. Motion carries, minutes approved. Moving on to our financial review, Lori and David will walk us through the second quarter financials, including new consolidated reporting format and the MooseNet recoding project.
Thank you. So, as you've seen, the quarter two financials are there. I'm hoping everyone's had a chance to review them. What specifically we did was we had to go back, and why they took so long, and I feel that I should address this, is due to the MooseNet recoding project that we had to do. And it was a wonderful project, and we enjoyed it so much. Just want to put that out there. But because it's going to benefit us for the new and improved, or the consolidated versus the core versus MooseNet on our new reporting format, it's really coming together for us so that we can be specific and clear on how the monies are being spent and where they're going. David, did you want to take something on the budgeted part of that, because you had been working on that?
Sorry, you want to go to section 3?
No, it was just about the FY27 budget timeline that's listed under discussion items for the 3. Yes.
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, I guess I'd like to see if Mike or Dr. Placido had any questions about either the recoding that took place and then the Q2 financials. Then I'm happy to give an overview of where we're headed. But as Laurie said, there was up until the essence of the recoding was that up until the end of Q2, we had been coding all the MooseNet expenses to just 2 different buckets. And then we knew there were multiple funding sources we were going to be grading in. We were waiting for the confirmation of the various amounts and the sources, and then did all the recoding at the same time. And that's where we're at today.
The only concern for your well-being I had was, I know what a big undertaking that was, and I believe you have a pretty important critical date, May 31st, cut over with NetSuite. Do I have that correct? Do we have Do we have any sort of contingency plan for that? For the production, the NetSuite, the upload? Did I misread that?
Can you be more specific?
I had a note in the materials that there was an upload estimated May 31st. So I may have,
For the audit preparation, you mean?
yeah. Mhm.
Oh, okay. So does the current work we're doing impact the audit preparation that Laurie is undertaking?
Sure.
Okay.
Yes, but it's all good. Or we're working on it and everything should be where it needs to be. As of the end of March, we had done all the corrections and the uploads into NetSuite. So that part has already taken place. So we're not
Yeah.
behind.
And-
We're not behind on that. That's all up to date. And moving forward, we're utilizing the new bins and the new format that we've outlined in our financials for you. So that's already been happening since April 1st. Well, actually, since January, we started doing some of it, and then we did the upload as of March. Well, a lot of it by December, and then March we did the stragglers. We're working on those so that we can get that together. So I think the May date was just to give us a timeline to work back from if needed. And so we're in good shape there, I think.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, and I think just to add that Laurie has been in communication and direct communication with our auditors during this process to make sure that what we are doing now is actually accurate so that when we get to audit time, there aren't any surprises.
And just so you know, interim audit started today. I'm already uploading stuff. So trying to get ahead of that with the stuff with the documents and their requests. So we had 21 requests, and as of this, just when I came on here, I've already uploaded 6 of those. So we're in good shape.
Excellent. Yeah, I didn't have any other thoughts or comments on that, Mike. Did you?
No, I have to apologize. I am for some reason blocked on all these Google Docs. I've been frantically trying to open it. It opened yesterday. Yesterday. It's not opening today. It's supposed to send me the code. Sorry. I tried the one you sent, Andrew, and that didn't work. So
Okay.
What's your email address, Mike?
mreed MREEDNNE@gmail.com. It's just a Google Doc won't open. It keeps asking for.
I'm gonna send you the actual Word doc.
Wow. Sorry. Gee.
Well, I also and Mike, you're saying even agenda?
Yes. It won't open any. It's blocking all the Google Docs for some reason.
Oh, that's right. They embedded
Yep.
links in there. Sorry.
Well, also, yeah, I'm sorry because you're added,
Yep.
your email's added, you should be able to, but regardless.
If you open up, sorry to interrupt you, Andrew. If you open up a browser and type gmail.com, does it bring up your MRead account, or are you logged in with a different account?
I'm using Outlook. That might do it. Let me try that.
Mike, I'm also just sending you a PDF by email.
I think we all were trying to help because I uploaded a Word in the chat too for the agenda.
While he's opening up the finance side, David, did you have anything more to talk about on the budget side for this first item?
I have a Word document. Thank you, Robert.
Yeah, so we will be talking about this more on Monday at the joint meeting. We're going to look at the program deployment projections for the next 3 to 5 years based on our current programming, and talk a little bit about the kind of associated range of where we're headed on the operation budget side. I think for this committee, as we head towards the next 2 months of identifying the resources needed to execute on the programmatic side of our plan, the three primary sources of uncertainty are worth highlighting. One being the BEAV non-deployment funds and the size of the amount of funds we're going to receive, the timeline, and then the split of program versus admin. The second would be the ongoing predictability and amount of the CME service contract revenue. And then thirdly is the MooseNet operational rollout. So those are the three big, as Andrew described them, our operating conditions that we are operating under, that we are going to be navigating over the next 2 months. And we look forward to speaking with the whole board about in more detail on Monday. And the other part of the FY27 budget outlook is focused on the changes that will be coming vis-a-vis the balance sheet of MCA. In the Q2 financial report that we showed you is, and the new split for MooseNet plus MCA core equals MCA consolidated. We've done that on the income statement only as the first step. We're then going to be introducing and showing MooseNet separate balance sheet as well at the end of Q3, ahead of the audit, which we know that there's going to need to be significant capitalization of assets happening. And so we wanted to walk you guys step by step through what the changes are and how they're going to impact our financials. Any questions?
No, did you need some more time to look at that, Mike? Are you good?
No, I'm good. And no, thank you very much.
Yeah. All
Thank
right. Well,
everyone for their patience.
yeah, no worries. Thanks, Laurie and David. If there's no other questions on the FY26 status or the budget, we'll move on to the next item. We have proposed edits to our committee charter, and I think this is also David. We'll hand it over to you to summarize those red line edits, and I'll just have one question about the 90 days, but we can get to that once you summarize.
Absolutely. And I think my summary will be extremely quick. It's mostly cleanup edits, adding Laurie as the designated MCA staff member for this committee, providing a full list of the policies that are being overseen, which includes the fraud, waste, and abuse policy, which we'll be discussing shortly. And then specifically, as we discussed at our last meeting, adding some language which to acknowledge the fact that this committee also will oversee any federal, state, and program audits that are ongoing at the organizational level. I think the sense of the committee I took last time was that you don't necessarily want to be approving any internal audits that we're doing, but you want to make sure you are aware of each audit. The language in here is requiring us to inform you of the audits that are when they start, and then also when they conclude. The 90 days, Andrew, you talked about this with Jim on Monday as well, I believe, and got his feedback. The 90 days was put in brackets as a discussion item. The reason 90 days was initially selected was so that the timing aligns with the natural cadence of our quarterly meetings, so that naturally we would be updating you on a quarterly basis and meet that threshold. It is absolutely appropriate for this committee to request a 30-day window. And if so, all that is required is that the MCA team needs to set up a process by which, when we start an internal audit, we then have a knock-on follow-up and informing you guys, which is absolutely doable. So that's the extent of the red line.
Yeah, that was the only question I had, was what was the reasoning, and what had occurred to me is I've had some of these inquiries that had a condensed response time. And so I don't want to make it overly complicated, but a lot of times you have a year, or you have 180 days, or you've got a really long window to respond. But if there's something more urgent, then it seems like you could asynchronously notify the board just that a response is due before the next meeting. And but again, I think the policy is fine. I just was wondering why 90, but that makes perfect sense to me.
So, and as I noted in the comments, I did talk with Jim just to catch up, given that he was not going to be available today. His suggestion was that no harm in identifying it as 30 days simply for notification, regardless of the cadence of meetings. And as David said, I don't think we have any problem with that. So, based upon Jim's input, I'd go ahead and suggest that we adjust it to 30 days.
That works. That works for me. It makes, I mean, because you're just notifying us, and then you could talk about it at the next, there could be discussion at the next meeting, but.
Right. Yep. Cool.
I agree with
Any
that.
other
I agree
discussion
with
on?
that. Nope.
Yeah, okay, so I'll enter a motion to approve the updated audit and risk committee with the suggestion to edit to 30 days. Can I get a motion?
Second.
Okay. All in favor, say aye or raise your
Aye.
hand. Nay. The motion carries.
You guys
No.
are doing a great job as a duet here.
Yeah. We now have a series of brief updates from all three of you, I think, at least Lori and I think Sarah. So I'll turn it over to, I believe, Lori first.
Thank you. So the first update I'm giving is the program audit that we have received. These are the dates that we have received stuff and when we've resubmitted them. Sometimes they do have deadlines, sometimes they do not. And we get them out usually within a couple of days. We just received another one for clarification on the 29th of April that we will be getting out to them probably by the end of day Monday, which is a great turnaround time for getting all that stuff, all that documentation together for them. Then we have a quick audit update. We kind of went over that a little bit earlier. Barry Dunn, we have begun uploading and doing the interim documentation that they're requesting. This, as you look down through here, it gives you all the dates of when these, the interim audit will take place the end of May. I mean, they want it done by the end of May, and then they'll do their week in the 1st of June, and so on. It just goes down through there. I don't need to go over each one of these with you folks, but just so you're aware of what our timeline is. And then we have the CME audit. I just got that back from Whipley, and it gives all the timeframes for that. And any questions on any of that? Anything anyone would like to, bubble up or ask questions about? We're more than happy to answer them.
I'm good. If Mike doesn't have questions, we can move on to the audit plan.
So the accounting system, the remaining workflow that we have are a balance sheet and by program, accounts receivable refinement in progress. These are things we're working on and we're uploading. We just did a sandbox upload and we have pushed one part over into the production side and we're working out some little bugs there, and we should have everything done by the end of May for it to be completed for the June. So when we go into the actual end of year audit, everything should be where it needs to be.
Yeah, and this is just more of a curiosity, but maybe a couple of years ago or last year, we weren't real happy with our audit partners. How are we feeling this year?
I feel with the developer we have, Yogesh, he is with MHI. I feel good with him, with what he's doing at MHI overall. Still not thrilled or, disappointed in some of the, the way things were handled, but we're getting there. We're also looking at other vendors to take over that. We're going to be looking at a procurement to see who can offer us what we need and what type of timing we can get on that. And I'm not saying we're going to be going with MHI come July. We may not. Would like to do that due diligence and find us someone that we think will work maybe a little bit better. And that has nothing, that's no reflection of Yogesh, the developer we've been using for the last couple, the last 9-10 months.
Oh, good, good.
Well, and Lori, just to make sure we're squaring here, because as you're describing the support from our NetSuite development vendor, just thinking about was your Robert had asked about our the status of engagement with our auditor. And so it was your point that the uh, how how we continue to modify and upgrade NetSuite has implications for our audit process. And and also how are we feeling about the status of and the nature of engagement with the auditor so far?
The auditors are awesome. That's all that I have to say, that's going very well. They are on the ball. When I contact them when we have a question, because I like to have that, as I say all the time, it's not just a once a year relationship that we have with our auditors. I like to maintain that through the year, and so that when we get to the end, we don't have anything that comes up that we've missed, and then it becomes a material item. So they're doing a fabulous job. As I said, they just sent us stuff, today, which was great. And as far as the NetSuite with the auditors, that's more been on the MooseNet configuration that that's going to affect the audit. There is how we're doing this, and when we're recording our in-kind and our capitalizing our assets and having our I'm going to call it the WIP or the SIP, whichever you want to call it, versus the the oh my gosh, I think I got CRS, guys.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, well, I just thank you for that. And how we're maintaining those records, that is something that I'm dealing with Julie over at the auditors to make sure that it's in compliance and that we're doing what we need to do as we need to do it before it becomes an issue, so that we do it right the first time. So that's going very well. I think, or my thoughts are, I believe it is going very well.
Oh, good, good.
NetSuite will either come along with us or we'll drag it with us.
Yeah. No, yeah, and I know NetSuite is what it is. I'm glad Andrew stepped in there, because the second answer was what I was looking for. Because do you remember? It was quite a while ago, but isn't it Barry Dunn?
Yes.
Yeah, we had maybe somebody assigned to us that was not so great, and am I misremembering that?
Not Barry Dunn. It was I think we selected Barry Dunn as our auditor
after okay.
The previous engagement, in part because, and boy, I mean, you could tell me this was 2 years ago or last year, but I think maybe the audit before last, and it was, I think, right, Robert, as you had come on the board, we were getting through the audit process, and it was just, we had a junior auditor, and they kept asking for different variations of the same thing. And yeah, Lori, it was a misery for you.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. Yeah. So that's all resolved.
I have post-traumatic stress from that. Okay. So no, it was a miserable is a good word. The gentleman in question just had been promoted, and he was trying to find a way that he understood what we were doing. So he kept asking for the same thing in different format again and again and again. And it was just, and not just on one thing. It was fun.
Yeah.
And it was right after we had made the shift into from Blackbot into NetSuite, I think. So we were both amidst a new system and had a new auditor who was also auditing really what had been our second full year of operations, which was right. There was a lot in motion.
Yeah. And the thing with NetSuite was we were operating within a partial, and then not the whole year was in NetSuite. At that point, we were doing double for Blackbot and NetSuite, and it created some manual data, calculations and or creation. And I just think, he just had he had a hard time following it. And it coming off the first audit with that firm, it was our first audit, and those usually are your bad ones, or you're more time consuming and you're getting to know each other. And that one went off without a hitch. David, you can attest to that. You were with me on that one. That one we did, and it was just perfect. But then that gentleman that had been our designated person over there got promoted, and then we got a junior auditor, and it just didn't go the way it should have. But that's auditing, and that's accounting. So now we've got Julie and her team, Bethany and Allie, and they do a fabulous job. So far, let's keep our fingers crossed. I don't anticipate it won't be fabulous, but it should go well.
That was about a year ago, right? That contract was buried in, I think. Yeah.
If no more questions on that, this next item is what I was referring to earlier, the estimated upload NetSuite production May 31st.
Yep.
Yeah, that was, as I said, it really was a date that we gave ourselves to work back from so that we could make sure that we got the sandbox for the corrections or the enhancements, if you will, done in the sandbox, and then we got the bugs worked out, and then we got it into production so that it was there and ready for us for the month of June, so that we have everything going into NetSuite correctly, and so we can pull that data really, really clear. Am I missing something still?
No, that's what I thought. I must have asked it strangely in the beginning, because my question on that one is, since we're pushing all of those edits to production, my question is, do we have a way to roll those back if it's a disaster?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
We're good with that. There are fail safes, and it may just be that the developer goes in and deletes what they've done, and we roll it back to where we need it to be, because we're getting tight on that schedule. Yeah, no problem. In fact, I met with Yogesh this morning and said, where are we at, and do we need to? Are we still going to make that deadline? And he assured me we would.
Perfect. Yeah. Good luck on that. I have great empathy for those projects. So, any questions on that item? That was quick. Thank you, Lori. I think your part's over, and we're over to Sarah, right? You're going to do an update on the fraud, waste, and abuse policy.
Yes, thank you. So the goal of the update is to bring to your attention that we are doing some work internally on this policy. And so it may come up for your review prior to the June board meeting. So just flagging that work is currently ongoing within the organization. We do provide a copy of our policy as part of the quarterly reviews that are currently done. And as part of that work, Erin Fenton, who is our Senior Manager of Compliance and Reporting, she brought up that, this is a good opportunity for us to review that policy. And so we have started doing that work, myself and Erin and a number of other individuals at MCA. We then completed that work and have provided it to Lib for review. So she is a great partner for us, and so it made sense to use that resource. So we have just received feedback from her, and I will be meeting with Erin Fenton next week to work out deliverables for that policy. So there's an opportunity here to delineate some of the work. So Erin Fenton, as Compliance and Reporting Manager, will run lead on the sub-grantee training on an ongoing basis. And then myself, as HR and Operations Director, will run lead on the internal training for staff. And so there'll be more information for you as far as that policy and the trainings involved and the updates that go along with that. So you should be receiving that prior to the June board meeting.
Perfect.
For action at the June board meeting, is that what you're saying, Sarah?
Well, I believe that it's part of the charter that will be updated. So I don't know that the policy itself needs to be approved at the board meeting, but I think to flag for you that it is part of what will be included in the charter update, I'm not sure. I'd look for clarification from the group here as to whether that would be part of the board meeting.
You're saying because the committee's charter includes purview and oversight of the fraud, waste, and abuse policy, we would be, and as we are updating that policy, we would also be sharing that update with the board. So um, as we've updated the charter to include that function, and so at that time would be a appropriate time to share with the board the updated fraud, waste, and abuse policy, especially as we are updating into our overall financial policies and procedures and staff roles and responsibilities. Is that
Yeah, so I'm not sure that yes, and I'm not sure that the board is required to approve that policy in total. It may be approved perhaps at the committee level, but because it's included as part of the charter, which will be ratified at the board level, wanting to make sure that there's visibility to the committee. But the committee could always advance that to the board as well, for additional view.
I'm fine either way.
Yep.
Question, yep.
Yep.
I guess we'll have to see how packed the agenda is and we can make a decision. In the interim, I do expect that async you may receive an email with the policy for this committee to put eyes on it and perhaps provide some feedback.
If there are no other questions on that one, Sarah's got the final agenda item for the updated financial and procurement policy. I believe Sarah's going to walk us through that.
Yes, that was initially assigned to me. However, with
Lucky
Lori
you.
being the designated procurement officer, I'm going to hand it over to Lori.
Oh, okay. And I just have one question on that once you're done.
Sure.
One question for Sarah or one question on the procurement policy?
The procurement policy.
Okay. So we have gone over this. We discussed this at the last meeting. We have a red line copy that's attached, and the basic updates are, the titles throughout the document that reflect the growth and the role transitions that we've had. Assigning me as the designated procurement officer clarified the procurement limits for the fiscal year, not fiscal year, cumulative basis rather than per contract is the 10,000, anything over 10,000, and formalize the MCA resources may be used to pay cost of contributions consistent with 35A MRS Chapter 94-A. That's basically what the changes are. And your question was, sir?
So, and I'm sorry if I'm getting too deep in the weeds, but it's a reflection of my my confidence in NetSuite implementers, not you all. So just bear with the question. Is so the major change I see in this is that we're now calculating on a fiscal year cumulative basis for that total. So are we confident that NetSuite is set up properly so that we're tracking the spend from a vendor, across multiple departments and so forth, so that when it triggers the board approval threshold, that total is a cumulative, and that is a specific setup function inside NetSuite that they would have had to have done correctly on your behalf. So, if you don't have the answer, that's fine, but maybe something to go back and make sure they've set that up right.
So that is not set up in NetSuite like that. This is something that we manually check when we go through the procurement process. We actually go back and check everything to make sure that that threshold has not been met and that we are operating in compliance with our financial and procurement policy. What we do is we have workflow or SOPs that we're now just getting everything together. We're redoing our finance and operations manual to reflect all of these so that everybody knows what their part is. So basically we have one of our people putting in all of the requisitions and he's checking those. It would be Andy. And then that comes to me and then I go through and check them to make sure. And one of the things about NetSuite is that it does have its AP. We've never had any problems with the AP portion of it, the accounts payable. It's always been in the vendor part of that. NetSuite is not a CRM in any way, shape, or form. We're using it for financials only. So we're just utilizing the system as it's set up now. That's something that we can look to have them turn on in the future, but it was never put out there that they had that. We had that option. So that's something I can talk with the developer about, or whomever we decide to go with it when we move down the road on some other things, once we get the real things that we need fixed now done. So we're double, triple checking this to make sure that we're in compliance at this time.
Yeah, okay. And again, I know that's management decision. I just was curious, so.
No problem. It's a great idea.
Yeah,
So-
Robert, if I could jump in too, because I think it's a great question, and I think it's also helpful to hear, Lori, how we're approaching that and using the system to the extent that we can in accordance with how our policies are stipulating practice. Robert, based upon your question and prior questions, it seems like you have a good amount of NetSuite experience and perspective.
Yeah, not
and-
it.
No.
Yeah, no, I'm kidding.
So what are you doing next week? Question really being, do you, if NetSuite is the platform that you all work with or you have experience with, are there vendors and or contractors and or resources that you would recommend or have reference to? Because I think we are, yeah, as Lori has indicated, it has been a bear, and we are making it work, but it sure would be great to have some more technical expertise and firepower to work through the challenges and make sure that we're being proactive and thinking about that type of use that you're mentioning.
Okay, yeah, I hate to be flippant, but my famous saying is I hate all vendors equally. So it's a tough space, and it's really hard to find the exceptional consultants because they're all pulling from the same pool of people, and the really good ones are never on the bench available, and not affordable to organizations like ours. But I will put some thought to that and send you any sort of referrals. And also, if you're not anti-AI, I can also give you some hints at how you can leverage AI to discover features that maybe your consultants aren't telling you about. So you can challenge them on their approach, because you can ask AI, are we using this to the fullest extent? And it will tell you because it knows all about NetSuite. But if I totally get it, if you guys are against AI in any way, I won't share.
I'm not against anything that's going to help us expedite what we need to do so that we are reporting accurately and
And efficiently.
efficiently, but that easy button that we can get. I know we can't get it but one question I have for you, please, sir, is that when you're talking about that, are you talking about the Suite app plugins? Is that what you're referring to with some of these things? Because it's not an out-of-the-box feature?
No, well, it can be. It is more just a comment on we're changing policy and does our system match the practice? So you're not doing a million records, and so the lift to turn those features on might be not worth it. And the easiest solution might just be for them to do a quick ad hoc report for you, which is totally doable. So, you shouldn't have to do it manually no matter what. And I was just wondering how you were gonna, match the system to the new changes.
So we can do a report we could actually get the developer to do that as we speak, because I've had him do a couple recently.
Yeah.
Like our Fed funds table and stuff like that. I just told him what I needed and he did it. But look, moving forward, I'd like to have those things in place, and all your ideas and the things that you have brought to us are all valid, and I really appreciate it. I appreciate your experience with this. So we're just trying to get it done as efficiently as possible.
Sure. Yeah.
And their pricing is astronomical if you go through some of these other folks. I found out like Oracle themselves, their hourly rate is like $300 an hour. And it's just like, no, thanks.
And you don't know who you're getting. That's the thing. So.
Yeah, and that is the thing with the original configuration as well. You don't know who you're getting. You're hoping you're getting somebody that's an end user that understands, and sometimes you just don't get that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So thank you, sir.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't have any other questions. Mike, do you have any other questions on on the policy. Do I have a motion to approve the updated financial and procurement policy?
Yes, just 1 minute.
All in favor, raise your hand. Opposed? The motion carries.
Yeah, sorry, I can't even get myself off mute today, for heaven's sake. I was trying to talk. I had no questions, and thank you. I did move, and yes, I agree. So we're good.
Okay, yeah, thank you. Yeah, no worries. And I think that brings us to the end of the agenda. Nice work, everyone.
Nice quick meeting. Thank you.
Friday afternoon of May 1st. It's the least we could do given the 4-hour meeting on Monday.
Yeah. Yeah, I really appreciate the Zoom option there. I couldn't make the flight up there, so
We appreciate the time.
yeah, we'll see you all.
Thank you.
See you
Thank
Monday.
you.
Oh, do
Thank
we
you
have to
very
do a
much.
vote to close or
Oh,
anything?
yes.
No, okay,
good.
all right, we'll see you all.
All right. Have a great
Have a nice
weekend. Thanks. Thanks.
Thanks,
You
all.
too. Bye-bye.